this is Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. This is the beginning of video number 3 of my WIP Parade, so I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching the first 2, and happy stitching. This section is what I call samplers. They're not traditional samplers. I don't have any that are like reproduction samplers. These are just different kinds of samplers. So this first one is Huckleberry Farm by the Blue Flower. I actually saw this at the retreat I went to in 2022 for Acorns and Threads, because the Blue Flower was one of our designers, and she had a model of this and it was beautiful. And I am doing a restart. I changed the fabric. I first bought the fabric that was made for it, which is this from Bestitch Me, but what I got was way darker than I wanted. So I changed it to, big surprise, just a purple fabric. This fabric is, that doesn't say. Does this say? This is by Fiber on a Whim, and it's Hydrangea, 36 count linen in the color Hydrangea. I got it from the Fat Quarter Shop. So that's my very small start on Huckleberry Farm. I absolutely love this. I need to get it out, as I keep saying that I need to quit saying. Next up, I went to a class last year at Acorns and Threads that was by Jeanette Douglas. It was a 2-day class, and she designed this sampler for us. It's called Stitches Be Sweet. And it is very, very pretty. And my start on it, I stitched on it while I was there. And here's my start on it. This is one side of the border. I don't know if that's right side up or not. I can't really tell. This is, I didn't write it down. This is a 36 count linen. I don't know the color. And then the other part is, so you can see this little scissor fob right here. I started it also, and I'm working on the back, so that's why there's acorns on it instead of that flower. So that's the Stitches Be Sweet scissor fob. It was a lot of fun. It was very fun to meet Jeanette and get to talk to her. She was a very nice lady. Next up is Blue Rhapsody by Rosewood Manor. This is thanks to Carolyn Zook. She started this on her birthday last year. And I'm stitching it. And of course I had to change the color. This fabric looks like a 28 count Lugana, and it's purple, but I don't know what color of purple. And I have a very small start on the upper corner, so I changed these to purples instead of blues, and I think it's going to be really pretty. Next one is from the Victoria sampler. It's called Lilac Chatelaine Sampler. This is one of my oldest WIPs. I started this at least 30 years ago, and I haven't picked it back up since I started stitching again. It is on 32 count linen that's called Star Sapphire, which is interesting because it's green. And this is, apparently I started at the bottom and I'm working my way up. That's how far I am. I am, goodness gracious. I compare this to the picture. Did that. So all I have left is these flowers right here and this thing at the top. I've done everything else. I thought I had a lot more to go. So that'll be fun when it's done. The colors on the pattern look more vibrant than the colors on the stitched piece. And then my last one that I'm calling a sampler, I'm not sure why I put it in that category. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is by Shannon Christine Designs, and it's called Rose Farm. Well, this says Rose Farm Frame, but so you buy different patterns. There's Pink Barn is the one that I've started, and I haven't bought the rest yet. So the Pink Barn is the top pattern. That's the one I've started. And then you buy these patterns individually, and I think the Pink Barn has the frame for the whole thing. This one I saw, I can't remember her name. I haven't seen her do a video for a long time. A lady in Washington. I really don't remember her name. This is 18 count Ada that I dyed a light blue. And get my needle. Take it down there. So I've started the border. This is how big it will be. And then I started this. This is the quilt. And I'm working my way to the right. So this was a fun one. Gosh, I wish I could remember her name. I should have written it down on my card and I didn't. So that is my sampler section. This is a second section of samplers. I knew I had more somewhere and I couldn't figure out where they were till I started putting things away. So this one is Modern Folk Embroidery, No Time Like the Present. This is a stitch along for 2023. And he has outlined the pattern, how much to stitch every single month. I'm not going to be able to do that because this month is almost over. And you'll see how little I have done. I'm stitching this on 25 count Lugana Wedgwood Blue 1/1 with Silks by Silks for You. And there's my tiny little start. I showed you this the other day. The line across the top is a solid color, and the little symbols are a variegated color. So this is going to be beautiful. I'm excited to stitch it, but it's not going to get done in a year. My next one is Posy Manor by Shannon Christine Designs. I saw this on her website and fell in love with it and had to have it. It's being stitched on 28 count Lugana that's called Mojito Smoothie by Grace Notes Fabrics. I lost my little thing in between my videos. So here's how far I've gone. I wanted to see this door, so I stitched my way in white over to get to the door after I did all of this stuff. This is going to be beautiful when it's done. They're all going to be beautiful. Next one is because of Brenda Handwork Maniac. This is the second one I think I'm doing because of her. It's by the Drawn Thread and it's called Sunnyside Sampler. She did this with a group of people as a stitch along over a year. And I watched her stitch it, and when she was done I decided I needed to stitch it. I cannot remember the fabric. I don't have it written down. But it looks like it's a 36 count, and I know it came from, oh, there it is. The fabric is 36 count Edinburgh linen called Celestine, and I got it from 123 Stitch. And here's my small start on this one. I am doing 1/2. I'm not brave enough to do 1/1 on 36, so 1/2. This is going to be a lot of fun. And I bought the silks, the called for silks. Next, I took a class from Acorns and Threads October. It was an Erica Michaels class, and one of the things we did in it, I've showed you before, Michelle Ink was the other one that was there, and we did some metal stuff that was really fun, metal clay. But this was the Mighty Oak, and the pattern includes this housewife, this strawberry, and this little guy. This little guy I did, he's on perforated paper, and I did him while we were there. I've showed it to you before. But this is what it looks like. Oh, my thread is attached to it. I think I did that on purpose. So my threads. But I started the housewife, and you can't see the front. Can't see the other side. The part I started is on the back of that. And I started at the top, and all I have done is an acorn and a half. And this is 37 count legacy linen. It came with the kit. Next is a Bothy Threads kit. I was struck by the colors in this and I had to have it. I've almost bought it twice after I bought it because people show it and I'm like, that's so pretty, I want to stitch that. Well, duh, I already have it. So, by Bothy Threads, it's called Moira Blackburn Season in Time. Beautiful colors. And it's pretty big. This does not say how many, this doesn't say the stitch count, and it tells me centimeters, which I don't know what that is. 52 by 33 centimeters. I'm thinking that's a lot because this piece of fabric, this is folded in half, big. My stitching is right in the middle. At the back or the front? That's the back. Okay, turn it around. Very little. This was one of my 35 starts I did in December. That's my tiny little start. That might even be upside down. I can't swear to it because I can't tell what it is. So, I need to get this one out and work on it. It's going to be a lot of fun, but that is really big, and it's, I think I may have already said, 16 count parchment, Ada. Came with the kit. Let's see, so I think I've showed this before. Their floss comes like this, so the symbols are already on the floss, on the little holes. The only thing is, it comes like this, it's loose. So as I use them, I'm putting them on the right way so that they stay on there tight. Because I don't want to lose any threads. Next one, I don't have a picture. This is a Facebook group. It's called iBand Samplers, I think. I'm not positive. This is a couple of years ago. I didn't get very far. This is the pretty thread I chose to use. It was called the Denim Band Sampler, but I wanted to use this beautiful purple silk. And it is Dinky Dyes. And then I have a tiny little start. This is 1/1. I want to say it's 28 count. I wouldn't swear to it. It's going to be very pretty. I just need to, I hope I downloaded all the parts as they came through so that I don't miss anything. When I took the Jeanette Douglas class, I found this pattern that I had to have called Vintage Grapes. This was one that they did not have a thread pack for. Usually they have a thread pack for Jeanette Douglas. So I bought all the threads for this, and they're all silk. I haven't decided yet. At first I thought, looking at this, I thought they were stitched in 2 different colorways, and they're not. They're framed in 2 different color frames, and what's different is just this or this, the alphabet or the specialty stitches. I'm probably going to stitch the specialty stitches. So I'll show it to you up close. It's really pretty. I just love it. So it's called Vintage Grapes, and I'm stitching it on a 36 count linen called Macchiato. I think it's by Bee Stitch Me. And a tiny little start. This was one of my 35 starts in December. That's my tiny little start. I started in the upper left on the border. This next one is called the Happy Mood Point. Happy Mood Point. It's a sampler. I found this on Etsy. I don't know how I found it, or why I found it. I was struck by the colors. And I'm using all the called for colors, but I'm not stitching it on white. And I'm stitching it on 18 count Ada that I dyed purple. And it will be 16 by 12 when it's done. And I have, oh wow, this is like the tiniest start. One of the tiniest starts ever. Is it my tiniest start? It might be my tiniest start of all my WIPs. Can you even see it? Right there. So that is, oops, where did that go? Okay. That was it for the remainder of my samplers. This section I'm calling flowers and foliage. It also has bees and butterflies. So the first one I'm going to show you is a tiny start. This was also from my 12 by 12 New Year's Eve for 2022. And it is this and it came with this printed fabric, and it's big, but it also came with a chart, and so I am stitching it on 18 count Aida. I think it's 18 count. And this was my tiny little start in my 1 hour on New Year's Eve of 2022. So that one is, it doesn't have a name. It's a kit I bought on Amazon, and I bought it just because of the beautiful purple butterfly. Sorry for my hesitation in my talking. I do that sometimes, and it annoys me, so I'm sure it annoys people around me. This one is a kit that I bought from a Facebook group, and the kit is from Rovaris, which I think she's in Italy, and it's this box, and I didn't dig the box out, but I'm stitching this band that goes around the box. Does it tell me? I don't think it tells me what the fabric is. It's a dark brown fabric, and I'm stitching the bee, and it's interesting to stitch on. It's a really weird fabric. So that's tiny, and I really need to finish it. I have no reason that it's not done, because there's not that much stitching in it. Next up, I have Hive Rules, and I'm stitching this on 18 count Aida in pale gray gingham. This was a stitch along that I failed miserably at. I have only the first section done, and here it is. I really like it. All of the bee ones, I changed the colors. I don't like Lindsay's colors. Mine are more vibrant. Next is, I don't know why this is in this group. It's a chatelaine, and it's the Holland Springtime Garden Mandala. And that's what it'll look like when it's all done someday. I have a tiny little start on this in the middle. I started this on New Year's Day of 2022, and I'm stitching it on 32 count Jobelin that's called HD Summer Sky. And that's my start. That's the middle motif. So let's see, take this down. Next, you've seen this one recently because this was part of my Bringo. This is By the Sea by Jeanette Douglas Designs, and there are 4 designs. I'm starting with spring, and so I'm working in this part up here. This is a 32 count linen that's called French Lace, and I have this huge piece of linen because I'm going to put all 4 together, and I have this little corner done up here which is hard to see because the colors are light. That is a Bargello stitch, and I'm really enjoyed stitching on this, so I need to get back to it. Oops, put that in there too. So that's By the Sea by Jeanette Douglas. This is one of my oldest WIPs. I don't know when I started it. Yeah, and it probably should be in my full coverage group, maybe. This is called Cabernet and Red Grapes, and this is by Stitch World X Stitch, and I'm doing the purple version. And it looks close, but there's still a lot of stitching because it is pretty much full coverage. Most of the middle is done. I need to finish the borders. I can't tell how much I have done of the bottom border, but it's beautiful. I don't know where I'll put it when it's done. So I haven't touched it for a long time. So it's kind of a one I should just get out and work on it until it's done and then decide what to do with it, but I haven't done that yet. It is, well, it's not old, like, it's not 30 years old like my old ones. It's probably 10 or 15 years old. And then I have the two projects from the 2022 Acorns and Threads retreat. The Blue Flower and Lindy Stitches were our guest designers. This is the one from the Blue Flower Forest Home. And the fun thing was, so Janine McGowan researched the Northwest, neither one of them were from the Northwest, and designed this piece based on animals that we have and landmarks. So we have a famous waterfall, and it's right here called Multnomah Falls, so that's on there. We have bears and deer and a couple of the animals I had never heard of, and I live here. So this is 36 count linen by Zweigart. It's Edinburgh linen. It's called Ghostly Shadows, and this is stitched 1/2 on 36 count. This was my first 36 count, and I really did enjoy it. And then the other thing we did that day from Lindy Stitches, it's called Beachcomber. So she researched our ocean here in the Northwest and found all of these different creatures we have. And the thing in the middle says, "Comb the beach for treasure with me, my heart resides beside the sea." And I have a pretty small start on it. Of course, it's folded up backwards. Let's see. This is how far I got on this one. And this one is 32 count raw linen by Zweigart. So those were both, and I started both of them at that retreat. I like to start everything at the retreat, so I at least have a start on it, and I can talk to the designers. Oh, interesting. This one is from this year's retreat, 2023. This is The Forest for the Trees by Ink Circles. And it was a lot of fun. And here is I started this one at the retreat. This is how far I am. And this is 32 count atypical linen by Mr. Fabrics, and I'm stitching it 2/2. Next up is this one. When did I start this? Where's my card that says when I started it? It's not in here. Butterfly Garden. I think this was my birthday start last year. This is by Shannon Christine Designs. I just thought that was really pretty. It's called Butterfly Garden. And I'm stitching it on 16 count Evil Queen by Bestitch Me, which is beautiful fabric. And I have a tiny, tiny start. Just that. One little leaf. Well, 2 little leaves. So that's that fabric. And then this one is a Doreen Jones. I really like her stuff. So it's called Bee Scissor Case and Fob. This was a download off of Etsy. And I'm stitching both of those. And this is a 28 count mystery blue linen. This is the scissor case. It's almost done. I just have a little bit here and here done stitching, and then I can put it together. It's got heart hanger in it. Oh, I can't. And I have to do the middle parts where the heart hanger is. And then this one is the fob. And it's 75% done also. Well, these are a lot of fun to do. I really am enjoying them. Oh, sorry for that noise. That was ugly. Next up is another blue flower. This is called Happy Campers. I saw somebody, no, I just saw this at Acorns and Threads and fell in love with it. And I have a smallish start on it. This is, I don't, the thing isn't on the fabric. This is a 16 count Be Stitch Me fabric. I don't know what color it is. It's a blue color. And that's my start. I started in the middle. This is the middle. And working my way to the right. My cute little fox needle minder. That's from yeah, Fat Quarter Shop. Sorry. Sometimes my mind blanks out on something. This is, you've seen this one recently. This was one of my Bringos. This is Garden of Zig by Ink Circles. I'm doing it on a 28 count even weave. That's just a blue. Wedgwood blue is what it is. From 1, 2, 3 stitch. 25 count. Sorry. 25 count 1/1. And this is it. And that blue is not looking right, but so it's about halfway across the middle border, middle band. And I'm loving this, loving it. And then this one is a heart hanger piece, and I'm starting with the cross stitch part. This has several pieces in it. It's an ensemble by creation. It's J Designs by Julie, created by J Designs. This is Julie of Running with Scissors, Stitching with Jane and Julie. She's a heart hanger designer. And so I'm working on this little piece. I'm going to do all of these pieces. I bought this kit from her, so it comes with everything that I need. And that's my tiny little start. This is, looks like a 36 count linen. And next is Sunflower Sewing Pouch. This has cross stitch and heart hanger, and this is by Doreen Jones. And hers I buy on Etsy, and they're always downloads. I don't think I've ever bought an actual pattern from her. And I don't know, what is this stitched on? This is 25 count Lugana, and it's Vintage Cloth by Lori Holt. I got these from Fat Quarter Shop. And here is my start. Well, that's not a very big start. I haven't had this one out for a while. So I'm stitching one of the borders, it looks like. Probably started at the top, so you can't see much. So I need to, well, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. You know what I was going to say. This is a freebie from Erin Elizabeth. I'm going to put this in the middle. It's a June freebie, and that's what it will look like. And the whole thing is all in one. It's a download. And I don't know where this came from. Might have come from her Facebook page. I'm not sure. I've had it for a while. I'm stitching it on an 18 count Ada that I dyed myself. And this is how far I am. Tiny little start. But it's small. It's only one flower, so No excuse. Except that I have too many projects. That's my only excuse. This one is March Pansy by Stony Creek. You've seen this one recently too, so I haven't done any more on it. This one is in honor of my mother, whose birthday was in March and loved pansies. I'm stitching it on a 28 count white Lugana. Is that the front? That's the front. And that is my progress. This one's going to be really pretty. This one is by Pedal Pusher. It's called Fresh Picked Lavender. I saw somebody stitching this and I really wanted to stitch it. I'm stitching it on 18 count white Ada. And this is one of my Advent, 12 Advent starts from December. So this is tiny, tiny, tiny start. I have that one. I feel like I have that one written down to work on for some reason. Is that all of those? That is all that are flowers and foliage. This last section is needlepoint. It's my needlepoint whips. I only have a handful. So if you don't want to watch them, I totally understand. Thank you for watching the rest of my WIP Parade, or however much of it you might have watched. I hope you've liked what you've seen. So thank you. And now I'm going to show you my needlepoint whips. The first one is one of my oldest whips. I actually taught this in a class. It was a pillow. I have it, and I don't know what happened to the pillow. I made it into a pillow, and I had satin binding around the edges, and it was purple. It was really pretty. But this was the one I actually used for the class. I stitched the other one first, and then this one. And this is close to being done, and it's like 35 years old, I want to say. So I don't have a pattern to show you because it was my own design. It was just a bunch of fun stitches. And here it is. And all that I have left, which is kind of hard to see the background is white. So you can see the parts that I have not stitched over here. This part over here. That's all I have left to do. Why I haven't pulled it out and done it, I don't know, except it's kind of tedious. It's basket weave stitch, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. And then my next one, I picked this up at Acorns and Threads. It's called Morning Glories, and I was struck first by the colors, although they didn't have some of the colors. So I think I changed some, but I haven't gone very far yet. So this is it. It's a full coverage needlepoint, and I started in the middle, and I have this tiny, tiny little start. But needlepoint, except for like basket weave, needlepoint goes faster than other stuff. So once I get back to this one, it won't take a long time. However, I found some others that this one went on a back burner. I first found this one. All the videos and stuff I've watched talked about painted canvases in the stores I found online. So we have a needlepoint shop in Portland, and I went there to check it out, and he has walls and walls and walls of painted canvases that were beautiful, and this was the one I came away with. This is not stitched. The only stitching is right up here. So you stitch wherever there's color, and I started in the background because that was easy. I want to do the zebra in specialty stitches, and I'm a little bit intimidated, so I haven't done it yet. But also, before I got very far on this, I found my last one here that I am obsessed with. So this is the one that will be finished first. This is a counted needlepoint, It's the Secret Garden Collection by Laura J. Perrin Designs, and it's called Be Beautiful Garden. And I think it's stunning. So I worked on this for quite a while until I got into my 35 new starts for December and then Bringo for January. So I'll be getting back to this now that all that stuff is over. And this is my start. Well, this is how far I am. So I've done, well, I haven't done all of the border stuff. There's still some fill-in stuff to do on where all these little sections are. And then I'm ready to go do all of these squares and the middle. The middle is a bee skip. It's going to be so much fun to stitch the rest of this. This part was fun, although lining it up. First I stitched the diamond in the middle, and then I stitched this green border and trying to get them to line up. I did some frogging, but eventually it all worked. It's all lined up now. Everything is the way it's supposed to be, and I can move forward and just enjoy the rest of this stitch. Is that my last one? Yeah, that is my last one. So here it is again. I just think it's so, so pretty. And when I saw this, there is this needlepoint shop in Grosse Pointe, Michigan called The Wool and the Floss. And she was showing some previous finishes. This is only 9 by 9, I think, finished. And she had this finished in a Sudbury House tray. And that's when I first saw it. It was just stunning. And so I messaged her to ask about it. It was a 2-year-old video. She didn't know what I was talking about. I ended up having to take a screenshot of the video and sent it to her. And then she told me that who it was. They didn't have the pattern. They were happy to order it for me, but I also could order it myself. And so I ordered it myself and got it very quickly. And then went to the needlepoint shop in Portland to kit it up, get all the threads that I needed. So that's I got back to needlepoint in 2023. I had been away from it for a lot of years and I got back into it. So that is all of my needlepoint. So that's it for the third section of my WIP Parade. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed all of these. If you have, please let me know. If you have any questions, please ask them in the drop down below. I knew the fabrics for most, but not all of my stuff, which means I need to go back and do some cleanup to figure out why I don't know the fabrics for the rest of my stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I think my next video will probably be just a normal what I've been stitching on video, although now you've seen it all, so I'm not sure. We'll see what my next video is and when it is. But happy stitching and have a great day.